This is Master Limited back for another video. And Alexa, set time for 30 minutes.
30 minutes, starting now.
This video will be going down this tree. I bet we'll be finishing this. Then we'll go down this tree. Down if I doubt we're going to finish it, but at least we'll get it started. I doubt we'll get this all done in 1966, so we're probably going to start down the military-focused tree. Yeah, so you cut military, then we'll go one of these ways. Probably this one because it's the quickest. Or this one. There's a lot to choose. Either way, let us begin. Soon we'll have those lunar rovers and we'll be marching into the space. Thought I crashed again. President Goldwater. That's new. Extremism is in the defense of liberty is no vice, and moderation in the pursuit of justice is no virtue. Hail to the chief. So what's your view? So power states' rights, reduce government overreach, preserving of history. I really like that. More high education, reducing bureaucracy, tax cuts, and more police. I've also decided to support the Eritreans because it looks like Ethiopia's not turning communist any day soon. I doubt it will be. Anyway, let us continue. Yes, I know we have a resistance issue. I don't care. You're doing well. The communist support in your country is going very well. Can't wait for this country to collapse in on itself. The abomination that it is. Can't wait to invade Afghanistan. "36 African nations boycott the 1966 FIFA World Cup. 36 African nations boycott the 1966 FIFA World Cup as FIFA insists on apartheid South Africa inclusion. Previously, South Africa has been removed from the Confederation of African Football. In response, FIFA has been constantly fining the ECAF, or Confederation of African Football, several thousand Swiss francs a year. In response, the president of the Confederation of African Football, Yednetchu Tasema, said that FIFA has adopted a relentless attitude against South African associations and its decision to resemble methods of intimidation or repression designed to discourage any further imposition of their nature is our opinion. The African National Association really deserves a gesture of respect rather than a fine, Africa putting their own interests in mind. Increased funding for urban healthcare. Our urban healthcare urban centers hold much of our population and in need of hospitals befitting modern cities. We will expand the hospital networks in major cities across the Union and provide modern equipment and expand the national ambulance service. The Mosul uprising. The Iraqi government nearly survived a violent coup attempted by Arab nationalists. Narrowly, not nearly, survived by Arab nationalists in Mosul. The Prime Minister Abdul al-Karim Kazim provoked the ire of nationalists by refusing to unify the United Arab Republic with the United Arab Republic. Kazim sought to undercut nationalism influence by encouraging Iraqi communists to stage mass rallies in Mosul. These rallies caused the commander of Mosul's garrison, Colonel Abd al-Wahhab al-Shawaf, to launch a coup attempt when the government refused him permission to break up the rallies. The rebel soldiers quickly seized control of Radio Mosul, launched an airstrike targeting Qasem in Baghdad, and the government launched its own strikes, killing several officers and wounding al-Sharaf, who was killed by a panicked soldier. His death caused chaos as Mosul descended into a bloodbath where communists, nationalists, and loyalists and rebel soldiers all began fighting. The government restored order, but Qasem appeared vulnerable, a blow to Nasserism. I think Nasserism is basically dead. Counting Nasser is not even leading it, some random African dude named Khalid el-Nokrashi. I mean, he's going down his path, but he is definitely not him. Kickstart rural healthcare. Rural healthcare represents a challenge on its own, since there is less infrastructure for advanced hospitals or rapid response to medical emergencies. This does not mean we cannot assign more doctors to rural regions, nor build more radical clinics. Everyone in our country deserves good healthcare. What's everyone doing? You're launching compact anti-ship missile research. You're deploying the Kurdish Air Force. So you're going the Iraqi war. That's going to be interesting. You're getting Iranian welfare state. That's us. You increase military spending. The Greeks just ended gulags. We've got strike forces. You're doing environmentalism. You can't do anything. You can't do anything. You're expanding general staff. You're reorganizing the army. You're beginning the 7-year plan, which is definitely a 5-year plan. You're establishing the Than Ton coal plant. Other than ending Greek gulags, you are now outreaching to the United Arab Republic. You are beginning relations with the US. You're getting SIGA. You're kickstarting Bosnian industrialization. You're getting hospital laboratories. You're getting cultural militarism debates. You're expanding searches for talent. You can't do anything. You're improving relations with East Germany. You're investigating the Lieberman proposals. The end of Greek gulags. Reports from the Democratic Republic of Greece indicate the government is emptying its gulags. This marks the latest reforms by Premier Charilios Florokis. The Greek premier recently initiated a series of liberal reforms to move the state. Many Greeks will welcome the decision, as many have loved ones detained in the facility. More high members of the party are likely to upset, but so far, Premier Focus appears capable of managing the different factions of the party. Good. $18 minutes. The Union of Soviet Republic launches its first lunar rover. In an impressive display of engineering technological capabilities, the officials from the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics confirm it had landed a lunar vehicle on the moon. The vehicle is capable of moving across the lunar surface. The durable vehicle can also stay on the moon for long periods of time. The vehicle underwent intense testing before the mission to ensure it could handle the rigor of the space mission. More images, samples, and knowledge of the moon will be gained from the rover. It appears mankind is moving closer to manned missions on the moon. It's just a matter of which nation can achieve it first. This is amazing. Okay, so we can soon land on the moon, making steps to that. The creation of the European Space Agency. The European Space Agency has officially been created. It had the objective of uniting many different nations. European nations created the International Space Agency and promote space-related innovation. The agency also seeks to promote cooperation and shared scientific knowledge between members of the agency. In its own words, the ESA proposes it shall be provide for and promote for exclusively peace or proposes cooperation amongst the European states in space research and technology, and the applications with a view of there being a specific purpose for Operation Space Application Systems. A new dawn for humanity. Very good. More people will join us in the stars. And get an advanced SRE training. The return of Mustafa Barzani. The incredibly popular Kurdish leader and fighter Mustafa Barzani, his supporters arrived in Iraq today. The government Prime Minister Abdul Karim Kazim invited the Kurdish revolutionary to emphasize the seriousness of his government's proposal to forge a new Iraqi entity based on shared Arabic Kurdish cultural identity. The two leaders met smiles, and many Iraqis were thrilled at the sight of a senior Iraqi military officer and a senior Kurdish guerrilla fighter together as partners. For Kazim, the move makes a lot of sense as busy recording as he faces increasingly pressures from more radical Arab officers in the military who want Iraq to embrace an Arab nationalist vision and unite the country with other Arab nationalists. More importantly, Barzani can help secure the acceptance of the new revolutionary government by the Kurdish people. For Barzani, his arrival and amnesty in Iraq has ended his longer exile from Kurdistan and hopes to use QSIM to help him consolidate his political position within Kurdistan. The move highlights to help him consolidate his political position within Kurdistan and moves to highlight highlights Arab Kurdish unity to Iraq citizens, but for QSIM it blunts the Arab nationalist threat to his power, and for Barzani it gives him a powerful ally in Baghdad who can help with a consolidation power of Kurdistan. Whether this arrangement will last between the two remains to be seen, as both men are ambitious and will not react kindly if they suspect betrayal. This will not end well. So, depending if they went down this route, which I'm pretty sure they did, they will now ask for the annexation of Kuwait, where they can either placate Kurdish demands and suspend martial law, or they can crack down on them. Either way, probably not great. And I'm pretty sure they're not going to lose Kuwait. Rest in peace, independent Mozambique. The introduction of the People's Control Commission into education. The People's Control Commission has great stakes in the improvement of the education system. After all, many of its members are mothers and fathers themselves. The People's Control Commission is given the authority to scrutinize our schools and ensure our children are only receive only the finest Soviet education. Indeed. The assassination of Malcolm X. I bet Barry Goldwater's done that. Malik al-Shabazz, or more commonly better known as Malcolm X, was assassinated during his address in Manhattan by Nation of Islam gunmen. Shabazz, the long accused his former group of trying to kill him after he publicly broke with Elijah Muhammad. As Malcolm X, he helped the group grow its membership exponentially, becoming nationally known for its rhetoric of black identity and separatism. He long criticized other civil rights leaders for compromising with oppressors. He publicly broke with the Nation of Islam in 1964, just last year. He traveled to Mecca for a Hajj pilgrimage, where his experience led him to convert to Sunni Islam and change his worldview, telling the Nation of Islam is Shia. Upon return to the United States, he announced his new name and his belief in racial harmony, not separatism. He reached out to leaders he once criticized, like Martin Luther King, to offer his support for the non-violent movement. Many mourn the loss of a man who was so equivalent, spoke of pride and for black identity, who was cut down just as he started a path of racial harmony. Concerning. Bloody Sunday. Alabama state legislature requiring literacy tests and poll tax for voters, which effectively disenfranchised most black residents and poor whites from voting. This is especially noticed in Dallas County, a majority of black region in which less than 200 blacks are eligible to vote out of a population of 15,000. Local authorities have continuously fought efforts to expand voting rolls. Following the killing of protester Jimmy Lee Jackson by a state trooper, the voter rights protesters decided to march from Selma to Montgomery to ask for the governor about the case and for reform of voting law. As they crossed the bridge on Highway 80, state troopers attacked to disperse the crowd using nightsticks, tear gas, and horse charges against protesters. Pictures and videos of brutal police action were shocked by the nation. Overall, 17 marchers, including a young woman, were hospitalized and 50 treated for less injuries. Many are dubbing the failed march Bloody Sunday. A disgrace. What the hell? Well, this is strange. The Kurdish military government in Iraq. So, Mustafa Barzani has just joined the communists. So this is going to be very interesting. So Barzani, Iraq, who knows? You're endorsing a Middle Eastern stabilization while also doing the opposite. Your domestic equipment production, your destabilizing Arab provinces in Iran. You are constructing trade infrastructure in Crete, still doing the same as last time, partially implementing the Tejas plan. You're denouncing Balkan anti-revisionism, you're constructing naval bases, getting theatre and drama. Wrong thing. You're founding the Strategic Rocket Command, you can't do anything. You're getting flexible, implementing flexible pricing, you're criticizing the Great Leap Forward. You're getting Deep Wire Officer Commission, you're allowing international reporters, getting motor cost cutting. You can't do anything. You're importing AIM systems, you're reviving the Rust Belt, you're getting national exercises, you're getting investments in education. I bet that will later fuse with our Kurdistan to make one big Kurdistan once it takes Mosul and Kirkuk. The Selma to Montgomery March is the event of Bloody Sunday provoked anger across Dallas County and the national press. Local activists asked for a court order to protect protests in subsequent march, but the courts asked for more time. The impatient protesters insisted the second march continued, and Reverend Martin Luther King led them. However, he made a secret agreement with authorities, and after he led the protesters to a prayer at the site of Bloody Sunday, he turned the protesters around back to Selma. That night, the white preacher James Reeb, who was participating in the protesters, was brutally murdered by Ku Klux Klan members in Selma. The killing sparked further outrage, and when the court issued permission for the march to go on, the White House pledged its protection. Martin Luther King then led the protesters to go to Montgomery, where up to 20,000 protesters participated in national assemblies and federal protection, highlight the growing support for the civil rights movement in the U.S. A brave showing. Indeed. Number of technical students. From the expansion of elementary and middle schools, or primary and secondary schools, access to education is not yet equal amongst all parts of the Union, and many areas remain unserved by the ESO system. New elementary and school elementary and middle schools will be built to provide the primary education for our nation's youth in all parts of the Novaland. No child will be left behind. Aha, good Bush quote. Good sir. We're so close to this 6th of September coup. Before I do that, let me get you. The Sino-Pakistan Frontier Agreement. Initial relations between China and Pakistan was hindered by geopolitical alignment and border disputes. However, the recent initiative by Pakistan to hold talks with a disputed border were accepted by the Chinese. After weeks of fruitful negotiations, the two sides came to an agreement. The agreement saw both nations committed to the demarcation of their borders. Pakistan would agree to cede Karakoram track to China. This region around here, even though China hadn't even got anything close to there, so it would technically be East Turkestan, but who cares? The Chinese and Pakistani governments see the agreement as the beginning of a genuine friendship. Although the reaction was largely positive among people, the Indian government was strongly criticizing it. Many Indian newspapers argue Pakistan has no right to cede either land it did. Regardless, it appears Pakistan and India have turned a corner in their relationship. The Chinese-Pakistan friendship friends forever. Doubt it, counting. It's literally gone. Operation Vantage. British government announced it would back Kuwait and reject the Iraqi demands on Kuwait as baseless. The British Prime Minister said to be consulting with his senior military staff to devise a contingency plan for the crisis in Kuwait. This turn of events is no doubt as a major blow to who are just claims for Kuwait, being Iraq, and the spreading of Arab liberation to another people oppressed by decadent monarchy, voted by imperial masters. Military officers are divided on how to respond. Some the hawkish nationalists are telling the leadership to commit to our demands and take Kuwait with force. A rapid war of conquest can secure Kuwait before British arrives, and once they see the new status quo, they will have to concede to the new reality. Our public proclamation has galvanized these for part of the military and the general population. The pro-government and pro-rally have taken place in the country. However, the other side and other officer faction point out the disaster of the 1941 Anglo-Iraqi War and that we could not expect the British to just back down once hostilities began. They suggest it would be reckless to sacrifice the Iraqi revolution and its tumultuous gains for the public support and Kuwait with the backward population. We must decide whether to push forward with our demands and secure Kuwait forcibly, risking a major military conflict, or if we should maintain our claims but reject the military solution and de-escalate the situation, but cost of public humiliation and hostility from the Arab nationalist regime in the region. Hopefully this does not escalate into a war. So that was us reading their plans. 1 minute remaining. And Mozambique has sadly died. Rest in peace, Mozambique. Or not. You technically are still around, you're just... White peace. Key debug. First act of the day. Set owner MZB. Set owner MZB. Alexa, stop. Once I've done this, set owner MZB. Set owner MZB. Set owner MZB. And finally, set owner MZB. Okay, the boat. So well done, you won, with large air quotes, the Mozambique war campaign. You technically did survive, so hey ho, you win. Now with that, and me just going over what our allies are doing next time, also I probably should start influencing you, just in case. Anyway, so what are our allies doing? Iraq, you're expanding your submarine fleet, you're endorsing stability, like I said, you're powering employer classes, you're constructing doing the same as last time, you're doing the same as last time, you're investing in serving mechanization, your traditional sexual norms, you're establishing a national TV network, same as last time, your east intentions with the west, focus tree review, getting the Polish People's Army, you're considering civilian economic shift, same as last time, you can't do anything, same as last time, expanding academics, you're getting the ad hoc infantry equipment design team, investing in education, and you're doing the same as last time. Alright, and your gain naval efforts. We'll probably put you in the forward soon. Anyway, and with that, I call this video done. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. I hope to see you then. The Vietnam War is going nowhere, and I hope to see you next time. Hope to see you then. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. This is Mountie Saluted. No, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.